The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Are you in the personal development world trying to reach a larger audience? Are you a motivational speaker, an author, therapist, coach, or business guru tired of pushing out content with little results? Gain more clients and expand your business today. Get your show or content on The Best You TV.
Hey guys, we're back. We're back at the Best You EXPO. It's day 6, and it's what happens when you run these events. All of a sudden, you think, "Oh my God, it's like going to be so long. It's going to take, how are we going to get through this?" And then eventually we get through it. And then at the end, we're buzzing. We're running on adrenaline and fumes and so much energy that we're actually now we're worried. What are we going to do? What are we going to do afterwards? So we're very excited with how the show's run so far. We've had so many great people joining us and so many great speakers and so many beautiful, lovely comments from so many of them. So we're very happy. And I've got to say, being our first virtual event, I've learned a lot. And there's just no other way. There's no other way than just jumping on the deep end and then exploring and learning from it. So we've learned a lot, and we've got so many more exciting news of how we're going to be doing this so much better next time. Because remember, we have our next Best Virtual Expo in Dallas. And we've got so many more exciting things to announce, and we're building up what will be probably an historical Best You Expo in Miami with the most, may I say, ridiculous influencers, musicians, artists. So just watch this space because Miami is going to be amazing. But before that, Dallas. Then after Dallas, we're going to have our Best You Expo in Dubai and Middle East, North Africa, and then Miami, and then eventually we're going to be back in London in February. So we've got a big run ahead of us. And in the meantime, as you know, we're live on Roku, and we're going to be live also on our other TV channels. That's going to be the Google Play, Amazon, and Apple. We're going to be up there literally within the next 2 to 3 weeks with all the content that we've obviously filmed this week and all the content we've been filming for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's been an exciting, interesting journey, and it's all going to be documented on the Best You TV. So you're not going to want to miss that opportunity. So I'm going to bring in Doug Vermeeren, who has been with us a couple of times this week. He's a very busy man. Hey, Doug, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for coming back. Doug Vermeeren is known as the Napoleon Hill of this century. He's a very successful entrepreneur. He's considered one of the best coaches out there as far as obviously helping and providing people with the expertise that they need, but also in having that ongoing recurring revenue that we all want. And he's been sharing some great skills here. And apart from that, he's also a film producer. He's done some amazing films and documentaries with the biggest talents out there. So Doug, we're delighted and excited to have you here, and very grateful. And we can't wait to put our hands on all the amazing content you've had and put it out there on the Best You TV. So what are you going to be sharing with us this morning?
Wow. Well, first of all, I appreciate that introduction. It's really kind of you to share. One of the things that I think would be maybe most useful, just considering the COVID environment that we're in, I thought maybe today what we should do is talk a little bit about how people who are in the coaching space, or if you're an entrepreneur, how you can maybe make your income a little bit more passive and have it become something that flows a little bit easier. Now, as you mentioned in the beginning, one of the things that I'm kind of known for, they call me the modern day Napoleon Hill because I went out and I did interviews firsthand with more than 400 of the world's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, and so forth. And the thing that I think is maybe important to kind of point out is that I actually started with kind of middle-class common background. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of resources. And so I was very similar to probably most of the audience. And with that, meetings with the world's top achievers as a 19-year-old, I was able to go to $1.6 million in my first 6 months under their mentorship. But I want to share that it's not just the mentors that make the difference. It's in fact what you do with what they share with you. So today I want to share with you something, but I can already assure you it's only going to work if you do something with it. All right. So if you take the time and you actually implement it. Now, to set this idea up, let me maybe share, and I'm going to use my little whiteboard here to share. When I was a young man, again, 19, just trying to start my first business, I was meeting with a friend of mine who was worth several $1 million, in fact, about $300 million. And I really wanted him to help me with my business. I wanted him to help me take it to the next level. And so I brought him my business plan, and I was hoping he'd invest in it and give me all the support. And so I started by just kind of asking him to read it. And he said something very interesting to me. He said, first of all, where are the transactions? I'd never heard of such a thing. Where are the transactions? What does that mean? What are the transactions? And so I started to kind of say, well, this is my marketing plan. And I tried to explain that. And said, no, the transactions. And then again, he said, well, this is the demographic we're going after. Again, he stopped me and he said, no, the transactions. Well, again, I tried to defend it because most people, again, come from, business and wealth from a place, this is my company. I really want to defend it, right? And so I tried to say something else, this is how we're going to do the distribution. And again, he stopped me and he said, let's talk about transactions for a minute. And then he did this little diagram, which was kind of neat. He said, this is you. Okay, so the company. And then he said over here, this is the customer. These are the people you're trying to serve. And he said the transaction is essentially this. When you are going to collect money from them, you must give them either an asset, a service, or information. Now, it's very interesting if we consider this, because I think a lot of the audience that Best You Expo has, many of them are information sellers. So this is very applicable to you. Many of you are coaches or speakers or what have you. He says, so this is the transaction. But if we really want to make this effective, what we need to understand are the steps that occur between. So in other words, what has to take place for the transfer of their money to come to you, and also for them to receive the action or the asset, the service, or the information. Now, the interesting thing is these little lines here can be really divided into 3 categories. We're going to call them tell, sell, and service. Okay, so some of these lines will be, how are people finding out about you? How are you telling them about you? How are you selling them about you? And then how are you servicing them? Now, the interesting thing is Money Magazine just rated me as the #1 passive income coach in the world. And the reason why is because I'm now doing just barely over $14 million per year in passive income, meaning I don't have a job. It's not attached to my work. So here's the secret that I want to give you right now. Once you identify what these are, the question is, how can you either systematize, delegate, or automate them? How can you get someone or something else to tell others about you so that you don't have to do it, yet you still get paid, right? Or to sell your services or find your customers, you don't have to do it anymore, but you still get paid. So I wanted to kind of leave that with your people to think about today. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't really do is consider the steps so much that need to go into every transaction. Once you know what it is you're trying to do, you can duplicate, you can scale, and you can replace yourself. So that's the quick lesson that I wanted to leave for you guys today.
Well, that was very good, to the point, and very helpful. It's all about the recurring revenue, and I think that's one of the challenges that many people struggle with. I think in this personal professional growth industry, they probably got great expertise, but then it's just not materializing.
Well, the other thing that's kind of interesting about this is unless you're creating a passive reoccurring stream, you're always in the process of starting over. Yeah. And there's really 2 ways that money arrives. Money either arrives as an event or a stream. Now, events are kind of one-time things that happen once. For example, you win the lottery, you get an inheritance from your grandma, you sell a real estate property, you get a client, right? So these are events. So most people in the coaching industry are always on the hunt for events. Where's the next speaking? Where's the next coaching client? Where's the next, right? But if we start building with streams, those are reoccurring things that always flow. They're predictable. We know they're going to come. That's when we can start systematizing this so that we aren't always recreating our financial status every month. And I think that's an important thing that a lot of people are missing.
Doug, thank you so much. If you missed Doug's talk, well, they're here, they're recorded. You can watch them. There's a lot of people watching the recordings all week, and it's understandable. everything's on demand now. So hey, come and watch it whenever you want. And guess what? This content is still going to be available if you have a ticket hold. If you have a ticket and you were at the Best Year Expo, still be available for 30 days. And if not, you'll be able to watch it on the Best Year TV. Where can people find you?
Well, I think right now what we talked about in the presentation we did is something called the Income Stream Challenge. And so if people head over to incomestreamchallenge.com, right now we've got a lot of free resources and a lot of material that's there. They can also get started for only $9. And I think we calculated we gave away close to $2,000 worth of digital products and downloads and material and support to be able to start creating your income streams, all for $9. So it's I think it's a great deal. And of course, it's basically one of these things where even if it generated even just one income stream for you or made one of your income streams even better, I mean, $9, it pays for itself in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No brainer. Well, Doug, thank you so much. Doug is always very generous with his time. He's always very helpful, and I appreciate your help and support with the event. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. Bye. So I'm going to invite my next guest. We've got an amazing day lined up today, and I'm just going to give you very quickly a rundown. So apart from my guest this morning, James Arthur Ray joining me shortly, Vicki Cittini. I'm going to have also who else do I have? Yes, I've got Marissa Peer joining me. Then we've got a very quick brief interview I did to John DeMartini a few years ago with inspiring people. That can also be seen at the Best View TV. We've got Doug Ivanovich. You must watch Doug Ivanovich. He is probably one of the most smartest men I know. What an amazing individual he is. I absolutely love him and adore him. 3 minutes of wisdom. We're going to have that. We're sharing with the Best View. Didi Wong, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Didi Wong is speaking in the house this morning. You don't want to miss that. Bunch of bubbly energy. Didi Wong. And then we've got Dr. Sonia Stribling, another powerhouse. We've got some serious lady powerhouse here today. And I'm very excited and very honored that we've got more women than men. Love it. Dr. Sonia Stribling at 1 o'clock today. Then we've got a brief interview I did with Dr. Mike Dow. I did that a few years ago. That's happening at 2 o'clock. And then I've got Sharon Lecter. The Sharon Lecter is speaking here at the Best Year Expo at 2 p.m. That's a talk for 1 hour. And her title of the talk is Assets Are Sexy. So come and join. And then we've got Inspiring People, Eric Swanson. He's going to be joining us today at 3 o'clock. Then we've got Doug Vermeeren. He's got a panel. So we've got an amazing day lined up for you. So before anything else, let me invite Vicki Cittini to come and join me, and then we will continue. Hey, Vicki, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm loving. Sometimes I question what I do. Sometimes I do, but then I have people saying beautiful words to me. At least they say nice words to me when they see me. And then, it just makes it all worthwhile. I had Les Brown saying some beautiful things to me the other day. Yesterday, Jeff Hoffman from Priceline said some beautiful things also. So I'm just honored and blessed to have so many great friends. So Vicki is founded WAT, whatever it takes, Property Finders, and with a reason to accomplish financial freedom, building wealth and legacy. From those humble beginnings, she stayed focused and driven. And, well, she has an amazing setup now where she's helping, not only have an amazing real estate portfolio, but, from where she was to where she is now, she's got an amazing story and she's helping and inspiring people all over the world. So, Vicki, how's it going and what are you going to be sharing?
Well, I am going to be giving away some free stuff. Because of COVID and everything that's happening, a lot of people were caught off guard and many people aren't getting paid. So I wanted to do something because obviously I'm in real estate. I was able to create a lot of things online that you can make a living investing in real estate. Because, we all know I started with $478 living in the back of my car. I made some wrong choices and I had to pull myself out of there. The way I did it was changing my mindset, and that was 5 years ago. I have over 100 houses, apartment complex, and whatnot. And that's what I teach. I teach on how I did it. The key to it is just not give up on yourself and do whatever it takes. If you like to go to my booth and see my recording, I am giving, for the first 30 people, I'm giving free entry to the workshop where you're going to learn how to do it online and be able to, especially even if the market goes down, this will still work. So I'm very, very excited because with COVID, really, a lot of people were caught off guard. And I don't want that to happen. I want people to be able to create their own wealth, do it the right way, build the right bones and structured. And we're just going to keep adding more to it.
Well, I think one of the things that has, that's happened obviously from COVID is unfortunately the reality of how important it is to have, assets that can obviously provide
Correct.
that ongoing incoming revenue, where you're not necessarily relying on a 9-to-5 job, which unfortunately a lot of people have. Now, we had Darren Winters the other day. He was sharing he does some great training on investing in stock and investing in Forex. Very interesting and very necessary nowadays. And that's one of the things that I think people don't really appreciate, that when it comes down to learning, you have to really learn all aspects of life. And obviously real estate is a very important one. So,
and that's important because most people will teach you about flipping, and really what happens if you get sick, what happens if you go on vacation, you're not making any money. So what we want to teach is build your wealth. It's passive income. Whether you're on vacation, you're sick, you're still collecting money. It's not, I tell everyone, the way to succeed is, number one, is have the positive attitude, not give up on yourself, but be creative. There's so many ways to make money in real estate, and you can do it from your house. That's what we want to teach. We don't want to teach you what's in the box. You go learn that from somebody else. The cookie cutter thing, that's not going to work. We want to teach you what's outside the box and have different baskets in real estate or any other business. Just be creative and you'll be able to succeed. I don't think this is the last COVID. Tomorrow it could be something else that happens. But if you build it now. This is the time to build it. That way you're never, ever going to be caught off guard again.
Great advice, and I do believe it's still here to stay anyway for a little while. So we better get prepared. Look, the great thing about Vicki, she's down to earth, very passionate about it. She's got a great team with her as well. Please go and check obviously all the information she's providing in the booth. Connect, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that I've seen here at the Virtual Expo is everyone chatting, connecting, engaging with each other, sharing what they do, and I want to make sure also that other speakers, exhibitors out here, you connect with each other, also connect with Vicki. So Vicki, thank you so much. You're speaking tomorrow. What time and what are you going to be sharing?
I am going to talk about, tomorrow I speak at noon, and I'm going to talk about wraparound mortgages and negotiations, things that you are able to do right out of your house.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Vicki, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting us. And looking forward to your talk tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. And go to the booth, first 30 people, free.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Well, guys, so we continue. We're doing good for time. All my guests this morning are being very well behaved, and that's lovely. So my next guest is someone that I interviewed a few years ago in LA. Actually, I recorded in a studio. It was a great recording, actually, and his name is James Arthur Ray, and I'm very excited that he's here at our virtual expo. So I'm going to invite him in. James always looks very slick, so I put a nice shirt this morning because he's just got it. What can I say?
And I'm gonna have to not behave, Bernardo, since everyone else is well behaved.
Yeah, I actually realized I shouldn't have said that, maybe, because you give a speaker a microphone and that's it. Well, anyway, listen, James. I know. Listen, you're a good man. So I just wanted to kind of thank you for being here. I'm going to do a very brief intro on James here. So James is the author of 6 internationally best-selling books, including his New York Times bestseller, Harmonic Wealth, The Secret to Attracting the Life You Want, and co-author and contributor to The Secret. Ray has worked with over 1 million people from 145 countries through his audio, video, coaching, life and business leadership programs. Over 1 million people have attended his live events worldwide, and his new book, The Business of Redemption, The Price of Leadership in Life and Business, was released in February of 2020. How are you, James? How's things?
Well, we're hanging in there. It's a crazy time in our world, as well, Bernardo.
It is.
So we're doing our best. we're all having to learn to adapt, and that adaptability intelligence that most research tells us not a lot of us have is really getting put to the test right now for all of us, even us who teach it.
Yeah, and kind of like I've experienced a lot of it this week. We went down this route of trying to do a virtual expo with the booths and people engaging and chatting, and there's certain aspects obviously that I've learned as we've gone along, and kind of like, I remember, I think it was like day 3, day 4, I had a bit of an aha moment, and I could just really, I've seen it clearly, but it's the only way that you practice. But you also discover quite quickly, James, how quickly some of the people that you thought were your friends all of a sudden, oops, like, he's a little bit impatient. But kind of there's so many moving parts with technology now, isn't there?
Well, as I know very well, you learn the quickest and the best who your friends really are in times of crisis. When things go sideways, and things are humming along, it's really easy to be your friend and to have your back, right? By the way, my wife Bersaba, who and I were talking yesterday, and I said, man, my heart goes out to Bernardo because he's bit off a big adventure here, and I'm sure he's really scrambling, and you're doing a great job. I'm really blessed to be here, so thank you. And
No,
keep
thank
it
you
up.
so much.
I know you deserve some time off after this. I'm sure you know that.
I can't wait. And the funny thing is, I haven't had a drink for over a week because kind of like finished late and all that. I know I'm desperate. So look, James, you've got an amazing story. I'm very honored to have you here because kind of like we were going to work together, and I lay it out that we're going to work together. And obviously, James has had some challenges, and I got into the US market, and it was a bit wary of kind of what was going on. Was I going to get backlash? And you know what? It's just one of those things that what a friend of mine, Jason Vale, he calls them the keyboard warriors. There's so many keyboard warriors out there that are so quick to judge people, and that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about. Is how easy it is for people to judge other people. And it really does shock me because we could all be in a very bad situation very quickly. And you would expect that people would give you at least the benefit of the doubt and at least maybe the option of a second chance. What I know from you, and just simply by hearing you a couple of times we talk, is you've got more knowledge than you had 10 years ago. You've got 10 times more wisdom than you had before. So if anything, you've got to be a better person, and that's kind of what I think you bring. You bring experience and expertise that a lot of people don't have.
Well, you're very kind, and I believe the same. In fact, I know the same thing is true. I'm a better human being. I'm a better man here now, almost 11 years later from total disruption, total destruction. And so, I think that in these times that we live in with the COVID circus and all the craziness, there's so many people who are going through similar things that my great prayer is that I'm able, because I've been through that, and I'll talk a lot about that in my presentation tomorrow, how I went from literally the peak to the pit in a nanosecond. And here's a little bit of me misbehaving, but I know there's so many people in today's world who are still talking about how to make money. And, I've made a lot of money. And here's what I suggest is that the greatest crisis we're dealing with is an existential crisis. It's a crisis of meaning. And we've got to get our head around that because there's a lot of people who have invested their entire life, Bernardo, in a business or a direction for economic gain. And in a nanosecond, those things are gone. And I learned that myself, where an entire, multi-million-dollar empire crumbled in a heartbeat, literally. And so where do you go now when that happens? And I know that a lot of people are asking this very question.
Well, listen, as I said, I'm looking forward to your talk. I'm looking forward for us having that content available for our viewers and listeners who will watch either now or at a later date. What are you going to be sharing tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to share tomorrow. I speak, I believe, at 2 2 p.m. Pacific, and on the main stage. And then I'm following right after that with a breakout at 3 p.m. And what I'm kind of laying out, what I have planned, Bernardo, is that I'll lay down 3 fundamental principles in the main stage presentation that all of us must develop and embody in today's world, not just to survive, but to thrive. And then what I'd like to do is dovetail that into the breakout where we can dive deeper and hopefully have some Q&A. And I've got some exercises and applications that we won't be afforded the opportunity of time to do in the live presentation. So that's kind of how I've structured it, with 3 principles and then a deeper dive in the workshop. So I hope the viewers will attend both.
Well, listen, it's going to be first class without a doubt. I have absolutely no doubt. And I know you've been, or people in your team have been, quite engaging and communicating and sharing kind of your books and your products and everything else. Please reach out to James Arthur Ray's booth, connect with him, connect with his team. Make sure you register for his talk. If you can't watch it tomorrow, hey, you can watch it later on in the afternoon with the recording. But he's got a talk and then he's got a session. So, James, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch up tomorrow. So I'll bring you.
My pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Bye, guys. We're going to be back in 1 minute, and then I'm going to bring in Marissa Peer. So I'm very looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
Hey, we're back, and I'm excited, very delighted to have my next guest, which is Marissa Peer. And Marissa's been at the forefront of kicking some global derriere as far as being the top speaker, top hypnotherapist, top trainer in so many things that she does and so many ways that she helps people. She's built a phenomenal career with a great team that she has, and obviously her husband, John Davey, together they're providing a phenomenal service that is needed so much to so many people, and also to coaches and trainers, who obviously need additional tools to add to their kit, and that's what Marissa brings. So I'm going to bring Marissa, and I'll do a very brief intro for her. Hey, Marissa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, darling. How are you, and where are you?
I'm in London. It's very, very hot here, 35 or something like that, hence my hat. But yeah, I'm in London. Looking forward to coming back to LA.
I know. Well, I left there a little while ago. I had a tan when I left, Marissa. I've lost it, unfortunately.
Where are you now?
I'm in Northern Ireland.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in LA. How funny. Northern Ireland.
No, I'm in Northern Ireland, and the reason is I'm going to have a little holiday over here. But anyway, I'll tell you that off camera in a minute. So, Marissa.
To say top of the morning to you.
What, sorry?
Top of the morning to you. That's terribly important to get our Irish in.
So Marissa's named the best therapist by Men's Health magazine. Marissa spent over 3 decades treating clients with a list that includes international superstars, CEOs, royalty, and Olympic athletes. Her engaging and amusing talks, always peppered with anecdotes from unparalleled career in which she's helped thousands of people to overcome profound personal issues. But Marissa, who spoke at our expo last year in London, and we were scheduled to speak in LA, wherever she was, there were just hundreds and thousands of people following her over the way. But Marissa, and then when I go on Instagram, you're there and you're helping people to take care of anything and everything. I know you've always worked very hard, but it just seems to me that you're just upping your game. You're obviously providing a service that's so needed now. How are you finding it?
Oh, lovely. You know, my father was a great teacher and always said to me, make people feel good about themselves. That's why you're on the planet, to make people feel good. And so I've been spending my whole life fine-tuning that and finding really simple ways of making people feel good about themselves, but that work, and that work forever. So I love it. I'm so lucky. I do what I love. I love what I do. I feel very blessed.
And with so many things as well, because, you know, kind of, I know, well, with your brand, I'm Enough, and then your RTTE, and then also, you know, you have great conversations. I remember one of the most popular talk was obviously about orgasms. I mean, we couldn't fit enough people in the room there, helping women as well. And men. There was a lot of men there, I remember. Men need help. But, you know, in so many subjects. So what are you finding you're doing more of, or you're helping people more of?
At the moment, the thing we're doing the most is working with children in schools and hospitals to boost their immune system throughout COVID. But our biggest thing is training. You know, I'm Enough and the RTT training work very well together, because as a therapist of 33 years standing, it didn't take me long at all to see that all my clients come in with a variety of issues, but they all go back to not being enough. Addiction stems from not being enough, hoarding, binging, self-sabotage, depression. So we have the I'm Enough.
Is that me?
Oh, it's come back. You don't have to go to therapy for 5 years or even 5 months if you can understand what lies beneath. So we're always teaching people, look for what lies beneath. Don't look for the symptom, look for what's underneath it. And if you can find what lies beneath and fix that, for instance, obesity, you know, most countries are failing massively to fix obesity because they try to treat obesity or depression and not what's underneath this. It's how you feel about yourself. And how you feel about yourself can be changed, because no baby's born going, oh my God, I've got fat legs, no hair, and I don't feel good enough. I shouldn't ask for attention. No baby is born like that. And that's good news, because it means if you weren't born with these issues, you acquired them. And if you acquired them, you can become free of them. You just have to understand them. And that does not involve 10 years or not even 10 weeks of therapy. It involves a good technique that will uncover what's wrong straight away and then tell you in the same session how to overcome that forever. See, the medical profession and the mental health profession have this interesting belief. If something is complex, bulimia, anorexia, depression, that's really complex. Therefore, the treatment must be complex. But it mustn't be complex, because bulimia and anorexia and depression all come from the same thing. I'm not enough. I need to be thinner. I need to be happier. I need to be taller, richer, funnier, brighter, smarter. But then we have all these people like Kate Spade and Heath Ledger who are funny, bright, smart, and beautiful. Michael Hutchence, Michael Jackson, and they're not even here anymore, because with everything they had, they didn't have the one thing that makes you feel great, the I'm enoughness. And when you know you're enough, it changes your life. But most of us just don't even know how to begin to believe that or to say it. And so I love teaching people how to really wire that into your life. So it's not a statement, it's not an affirmation, it's who you are.
Now, one of the things that I've experienced with a lot of the people that have trained with us over the years, and I'm talking people that have trained in NLP and a lot of the coaches that we've had. I know I've started working with you with your RTT program specifically, and I know how in depth it is. Explain to us just a little bit more how the program works, and because I know there's a lot of people that are here that have phenomenal expertise, and you know they might be great at what they do, but they've got certain skills missing. I've always known that if some people have a certain amount of skills, but they haven't done an NLP training, for me, I know there's something missing there. I've also known with people that I've worked with who have come across my way that have had your training, I know that they've got a degree of knowledge of being able to help change clients in a way that others don't.
And we do train a lot of NLP practitioners. We train a lot of doctors and surgeons and therapists who all say, gosh, this is the missing bit. This is the bit I didn't understand. Because conventional therapy is either, okay, I know what's wrong with me, but I have no idea how to fix it, or I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if I've got the alcoholic gene or the depressed gene or the fat gene. So I don't know how to fix that. But even worse is I don't know what's wrong. I don't know how to fix it. So when people train with me, they go through this process where they first become a detective. It's called we investigate. And the first thing I was looking for is, look, you were not born like that. Because I've bitten my nails all my life. No, because you don't have any teeth for the first year and a half. So that's not even possible. I've always hated looking in the mirror, not as a baby. I've never been able to leave food, but that's not true. So people tell themselves a lie. I can never leave food. I can't find love. But if you're going to tell yourself a lie, why not tell yourself a better lie? That's the title of my new book. Tell yourself a better lie. How about saying I'm fabulous, I'm amazing, I'm lovable? It's not true. Neither is saying this weekend I've eaten like a pig nonstop and now I'm the size of a house. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept for 3 days. There's not a man in the world that could love me. Well, they are lies. And if you're willing to lie to yourself, which we all do, by the way, how about telling yourself a better lie? So we go back and investigate. Where did you begin? Where did you make this decision? So the first job is a detective. A detective is always gathering information, looking for clues. And then when we found them, we become a dentist and we extract all that toxic mush that we surround ourselves with. I'll never make money. I'll never find love. I'll never lose weight. I'll never amount to anything. We extract that because it is very toxic. And then we become a coder. And then we code in brand new beliefs. So everyone I train in RTT has 3 jobs in one session. Be the detective, gather information. Be the dentist, extract all that toxic stuff. And now be the coder and wire in, fire in, and code in something better, excite the imagination. And when you understand the human mind, which is not hard to understand, it's actually immensely easy. You can wire in, fire in, and code in amazing beliefs that change your life because humans have so much potential. And it's such a shame that we kind of wire ourselves with all this negativity instead of being super positive. But it gets easy, you know. I find what I do exciting and thrilling. 33 years down the line, it never bores me. I love it so much because I think human beings are super resilient, incredibly able to change. And yet they say things like, I'm weak, I'm fragile, I'm damaged, I can't change at my time of life. None of that is true. We're not weak. We're not fragile. We can be damaged. We have this thing like, I'm a broken person. But you're not a broken person. You've had some broken experiences. You're not fragile and you're not broken, but you went through life with a broken belief. No one loves me. You went through life with some fragile beliefs. I can never be a success. I didn't go to college. Well, neither did Tony Robbins, neither did Oprah Winfrey. Some of the most successful people in the world came from broken families, single parents, no college, were dragged up in poverty, and yet here they are, doing amazing things. So I really believe that if you can tap into the potential of humans, and I see that with all my clients, they do amazing things. Every day I get letters going, look, I lost half my body weight. I've just got married. I've had a baby. I've got a promotion. I left an abusive marriage. I haven't been depressed for 5 years. I don't know what you did, but it's all gone. And it's not what I do, it's what I show them to do. I'm just a catalyst for helping people be amazing because we are amazing. We just don't know it. And actually now it's more important than ever because years ago you got a job and hopefully your boss went, hey, well done, did a good job. Or maybe you had a dad that would shape you and mold you and praise you. Now, a lot of us never had a dad. Our mum's working all the time and we got our own startup. And where is your praise? Who's going to tell you you are amazing? You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to build your praise muscle. And many people, especially coaches and therapists with their own business, don't have anyone going, hey, well done today. You did something. And they have no one. And they have no idea that the most important words you'll ever hear are the words you say to yourself. And the praise that boosts you more than anything on the planet is your praise, not your boss, not some person that you fancy, not even your parents, you. And when you can learn to give yourself the praise you've always wanted to fill the missing part of you, it makes you bulletproof. unstoppable, unshakable. I mean, I didn't come from a family of praise. My parents told me I should be a nanny. That's how much they thought I would amount to. And my dad was a head teacher. But I learned that actually the best thing you can do is sit down and think, you know, what do I most want to hear in my entire life? Why don't I say it myself? Because you go, I need someone to complete me. I'm going to find some person and give them the job of making me feel good. If I give that job to you, Bernardo, you can quit that job anytime you like. But if I give it to myself, it's forever. And I've got a degree in it, and I'm going to be great at being my own cheerleader. And a lot of what I'm doing tomorrow is telling you how to use the rules of your mind to fill the missing part of you. There's no doubt having a great relationship. I mean, I love my husband. He's phenomenal. But if I give him the job of making me feel good, I give him the job of making me feel not good, because now it's his job. It's my job. Even with orgasms, I say to him, it's not your partner's job, it's your job to believe you're so orgasmic. You can have multiple orgasms with those little electric shocks that go right through your body, but you can't go, hey, it's your job, give me an orgasm. Because if they leave, you go, oh, well, you've taken that job with you. Like I say, no, when my partner left, he took everything. I'm like, he didn't take what he loved in you. And he didn't pack everything in a bag and say, well, I'm packing my bag. Let's pack in all the stuff I ever thought was good about you. It's still in there. And if somebody loved you once, someone else can love you even better. And we just need someone to make us see, oh, it's my belief I'll never find love. That was my twin flame, the only one for me. No, if you found love, you find love again because you have a template for it. If you've had success, you can have success again. If you had joy in your life, you can have it again. And the rules of your mind will show you exactly how to wire in, fire in, code in love, success, joy, health, wealth, abundance, whatever you want. And it's 11 o'clock tomorrow, PST time. We're going to be giving you a lot of free gifts. If you attend, we're going to give you some free stuff afterwards. I'm going to save that for tomorrow, but you can go to rtt.com right now and find out more. But I love Rules of Your Mind. It's something I created myself. After 33 years of therapy, I began to just note down these little rules. And then I managed to gather 22 of them, and I'm sure we can fit them all in. And really explain, because when I was at college, my teacher said the human mind is very complicated and it takes a lifetime to understand. And then you need a second lifetime to apply that understanding. I thought, well, how does that work then? That doesn't make sense. Why would the mind go, hey, let me give you a great brain, and when you're 90, you crack it, but you can't use it. You're not going to be having sex all night long at 90, or running naked through the park, or having a startup. So what's the point of getting this understanding at the end of your life and needing another lifetime to apply it? And I realized that actually you can learn everything about psychology in an hour if you really pay attention. And I train many psychiatrists who say, this is amazing. I've learned more about human behavior in this 20 minutes. I mean, I've taught at the Royal School of Medicine, the Royal Academy in New York, Imperial College Medical School. And even though these people are eminent and very smart, of course, they still say, gosh, I love the way you've condensed this down. Because Einstein said, simplify. So I thought, well, I'm going to simplify therapy, because there's no other healing profession that says, bring me your pain and let's discuss it for 6 years. No dentist said, come in and we'll discuss your rotting teeth. No cardiologist says, turn up and we'll have a conversation about your tricky heart, or turn up and we'll discuss your irritable bowel or your chronic migraines. But therapy says, turn up and let's talk about it. And you could get better. First, you have to build up trust. Well, if I'm run over, I don't have any time to build up trust with the doctor who's going to make me better. I just want him to fix me. And I know that for some people, they do love the build trust, but we live in such a fast world. We haven't got time anymore for that. People just say, I want to be better. Can you make me feel good about myself today? Yes. Can I keep that forever? Yes. And it's not about let's build it up slowly. When you're in pain, you just want it to go away now.
Well, Marissa, thank you so much. I can listen to you forever. And the thing is, everything Marissa says just makes sense. And when you listen to her, it makes sense. And we're not born with a manual. That's what she does. She gives you a system, very easy to understand, get you to understand that internal dialogue. So please join Marissa tomorrow. If you're at the expo and you're watching this live, please make sure you pop into her booth or their booth. They've got an amazing team there. They give you lots of great stuff. And additionally to that, come and see her talk tomorrow. You're going to absolutely love it. Marissa, thank you so much for being part of the expo. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Guys, so I'm going to invite my next guest who's been waiting very patiently, Gabriel Nosovich. So just give me 1 second and I'll be right back. We're back. I'm going to invite my next guest, Gabriel Nosovic, who's been waiting there. Hey, Gabriel, how are you?
Great, Bernardo. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So we were speaking. I was with a panel the other day with Gabriel, and it was a Spanish panel. There was a lot of noise, obviously, with the Latinos when we start speaking. But Gabriel has obviously he's obviously got. You are from where? From where?
I'm from Argentina.
Argentina. He's from Argentina.
From my father's
Argentino. And then, but he speaks with an American accent, so he's got both. Well, you've been in America for a long time, haven't you?
35 years, yeah. I moved here when I was 19.
Yeah, perfect.
You're 20.
Well, listen, Gabriel, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. And look, Gabriel Nosovich is one of the leaders in the industry. He's been consulting all sorts of companies. He's the co-founder of several personal transformational companies throughout Latin America. Argentina Works SA in Buenos Aires, Chile Works SA in Santiago, and World Works in Mexico City. He's also the co-founder of World Works Incorporated in the United States. These organizations offer personal growth and transformational seminars and sponsor large-scale community service projects aimed at raising awareness in underprivileged populations in the Americas. So, Gabriel, how's things? How are you?
I am great. I am excited. I was just listening to your guests, and what an amazing lineup. I'm really excited. I mean, I could listen to Marissa Peer forever. It's so entertaining and so profound and interesting.
Have you heard her before?
Yes.
Yeah. She's always she's just great. She's just a phenomenal speaker and
phenomenal speaker. So interesting. Grabs your attention. Puts it like she says in a very simple way.
Yeah.
And, I've been in the story busting business for a long, long time, and it's very, very refreshing how she simplifies but gets to the point and gets deep. So
yeah, absolutely, extracting it and finding out where it was. So, Gabriel, what are you finding yourself doing more of now? And I know we talked about it. Obviously, we're all training from home and teaching from home and connecting with people globally and internationally. But what do you find you're helping your clients more with?
I think it's pretty much the same thing in general, except that I have adapted to the new format, which I didn't believe in at all in the beginning. I saw these people doing online courses, and I said, "What? You're missing the personal connection and so forth." I am now a total believer because, as I mentioned to you before, I now have the opportunity to reach people in 20 different countries at once that come in for one seminar, and I'm a believer in the morphogenetic field. When I'm in a room, a lot of things are happening, and I see the energy. Something pops over here, and it feeds into this, and suddenly it's like fireworks all over the place. And I've come to call that over the years a morphogenetic field. What wants to happen finds its way. If I hold the space for it, it finds the way of completing itself. I didn't believe that was possible in the virtual world. And now I'm finding that I was completely wrong. That the physical world, as we know it, was not a necessity for this.
Yeah.
As I have 350 people that are sharing, I see how something ignites someone else speaking, and this is triggering this. and suddenly there's a narrative that is being built that is part of like the whole group wanting to complete on a particular experience, whether it's like I can't have it all or I'm not good enough. Everybody's providing a different facet of the same story or the same archetype that is running the whole group, and suddenly I see it pop. It's just been fascinating. So I'm like a kid with a new toy in all this.
It is, and I kind of like, well, I was sharing before that I've learned so much this week myself with kind of, because obviously, kind of, I have a structure in my mind of running an event, and then obviously it's a completely different marketing and strategy for running a virtual one, and then also the technical aspects of the virtual event now, which are things that I underestimated, and then now we are moving into television, and then understanding how we can then connect the live with television, and then the global reach. Because for me, it was always about more. Kind of like what we do is great, but I want more. And having 100, not enough. Having 500, not enough. Having 15,000, not enough. Having 100,000, not enough. We have to be reaching millions because, we know that there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. But I'm just saying is that we need to reach more people. And I think this is what's allowed us. This is the beauty of what we're having now, is that we can connect more.
I've always been about creating critical mass, the tipping point, like collective awakening, I was once talking to Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was a close friend of mine, and she brought up the idea of a sudden. I had a couple of Satoris and like sudden moments of realization that I was like, whoa, I'm one with everything and so forth, which stays with you. It's an imprint. But I was talking to her, and for the first time, she brought up this whole idea of a sudden collective awakening, which I had never even conceived or considered. And ever since we had that conversation, I've been seeing it unfold in very mysterious ways. And I think that whatever's happening is a catalyst in a way, this global stopping of the world to, take a deep breath and regroup is part of the whole messy process.
And I think, and I do. One of my speakers later on today, if you are going to be around Gabriel, you can watch him, Doug Ivanovich, who's going to be speaking later. He's just a phenomenal individual with so much knowledge, and he talks about the change of consciousness and obviously how humanity is going to change, and a lot of the things that he's involved in is in mass change. He's the man that was behind Live Aid and Live 8, the concerts that started all that. He was just about to promote Earth Day 50, which was the biggest. It was like 50 concerts around the world to reach 3.5 billion people, all about creating awareness around. So when I talk about my events, I suck energy from Doug. That's where you get. So I'm very interested in that, and I wanted to be involved in this project because that's what I think is needed. I think what we need to do is we need to take this conscious the knowledge that is already there from the experts that have the expertise and the knowledge, and put it out there. Because, excuse me, I'm not going to trust the governments anymore to tell us how we have to teach. That was 50 years ago, man. The internet's around. You can't stop learning, and you can't teach us the things that you want to teach us because it's completely irrelevant. People have to be learning new things. They have to be learning the things that are important. And we were learning it. Oh, I've learned it late in my life. I started learning in my late 30s, and I'm learning everything now. So.
And what you're doing right now, I find fantastic because I think, I'm with Ken Wilber when he says, we all have a little piece of the truth, and coming together. You're being an architect, bringing all these people together, who might actually some judge each other for how they perceive things, or we're not always all of us in agreement with how we think that it is, right? That things are. But bringing the full gamut and exposure to so many people and being the architect of that, kudos to you. It's great to be able to, take from so many perspectives, and I'm listening with fascination. I used to be more like, well, they got this right, they got that right, like I'm the authority, and I've matured now at 50, almost 56. enough to go, no, let me listen carefully. You know, I wrote a book 3 times already, and you'll find this funny. A book that is about how the game that we're unconsciously playing of proving ourselves is getting in the way of, you know, us getting to the next level of wisdom and awareness, because we're too busy trying to be right about what we think we know. And and trying to teach other people, and, you know, going around proselytizing and so forth. And the book has been written 3 times. I have 3 copies of the book, and every single time I read it with passion and joy, because it was so much information. And then I decided not to publish. And you know why? It's because there are vestiges in the book of wanting to prove something. The book itself is antithesis to the basic premise of the book, which was get yourself over needing to prove anything. And so if I'm writing the book about stop proving yourself, and in the book there is some element of me trying to prove something by telling people to stop proving themselves, then I can't publish it. So that's why I have 3 versions of it. And I'm waiting for, you know, lightning to strike and go, okay, this is the thing. So the paragraphs you need to remove.
Brilliant. Well, that's a really valid point. Gabriel, I'm looking forward to your talk. So you're speaking tomorrow, and what are you going to be sharing? What's the title of your talk?
Yeah, I'm going to be sharing tomorrow at noon about one of the things that I think most people underestimate, which is they don't check into their ability to receive. You know, everybody knows that there's a lot of talk about, you know, generosity and all of that stuff. And I really believe we're a space, when we realize we're not a collection of stories, because we're story-making machines. Once we are able to just release some of the concepts and ideas we've made up around life, ourselves, other people, it, them, and we become very spacious, then this life force starts manifesting through us. It's almost like our intentionality, egoic intentionality, and a higher intention kind of line up. And we become this massively abundant way, you know, space for producing and generating abundance. And I feel like one of the things that's stopping people from accessing that energy force is that they don't know how to receive. They don't realize what are the blocks. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different easy, obvious blocks to receiving. And then I'm going to give people a chance to download or go get 8 steps for, you know, the more tricky ways in which we block our ability to receive, and some exercises that they can do, and having conversations and telling on themselves, revealing stories, and then opening up the gates to receive.
Well, that very excited for that, Gabriel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernardo.
And we're going to be back in a minute. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a minute. What's the best way of somebody managing time?
Well, I don't know if we ever manage time. I think we manage our actions in time, because we all have the same amount of time. We call it time management, but it's really our activity management. If a person was to sit down and write down everything that they do in a day, and make a comprehensive list of everything that they do in a day, within possibly a month, each days of the month, what do they do? And then next to it, put down another column next to it. What is the productivity per hour? How much does it produce per hour economically? And next to that, another column that's how much meaning of inspiration does it provide? And next to that, what is the cost of replacement? If I was to delegate it to somebody, what would I have to pay to have them do that? And next to that, another column is how much time is spent. If we put those 4 columns together against all the things that we do in a day, we'll find out that in most cases, most people that are less productive are doing low priority things. They're majoring in minors and minoring in majors. They're doing less priority things and not the most productive or most meaningful things. But by going through and doing an inventory of that and identifying what really produces economically and what is really meaningful, usually the thing that produces is something that serves others. What's meaningful, it serves ourselves. Finding a balance of those meaningfulness, as in the things that are most productive, allows us to earn more income to delegate to lower priority activities. Once we delegate to lower priority activities, we get way more done. We feel way more fulfilled. We have a greater self-worth and net worth. And we're able to free ourselves up for creative thinking with the executive center in our brain instead of having to live in frustrations with our amygdala. So we actually activate our angelic mind, as I call it, instead of our animal mind. This is the most productive and most powerful day we can make. So prioritizing our day every day and living by high priorities is key. Parkinson's law states that if we don't fill our day with high priority actions that inspire us, it's going to keep filling up with low priority distractions that don't.
Tell me about, where does inspiration come from?
Well, whenever you're setting goals that are aligned to your highest values, the things that are most priority, most important to you, you're spontaneously inspired from within, like a calling from within to act. Nobody has to ever remind me or motivate me or incentivize me to get up and research and write every day and to teach every day. I love doing that. I can't wait to do it. And whenever you're doing things that are high in your values, you can't wait to do it. And when you can't wait to do something that inspires you, people can't wait to get your inspiration. But whenever you're doing something lower on your values, because you'll procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate in doing it in comparison to higher values, you'll need motivation and drive and incentives to get you to do it. And you're more avoiding pain and seeking pleasure in that mode. So I always say I'd rather fill my day with inspirations than have to live my life through having to be motivated from the outside. Motivation is a symptom, never a solution. Inspiration is the fulfillment of life.
But is it not difficult for people that maybe have just kind of like a mundane job? Is it not difficult sometimes maybe for them to find inspiration if they're just trying to bring a living in? Actually,
if they have never taken the time to identify the job description that they have and identify what's really truly high on their value, and then identify how specifically those activities are going to help them fulfill their highest value, they're going to have a mundane job. But it's never what happens to them. It's never what they're going through. It's their perception of it. William James, the father of modern psychology, said that the greatest discovery of his generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their perceptions and attitudes of mind. So if we take the time and ask the simple question, how specifically is the job duty I'm doing right now going to help me fulfill what is most meaningful, most inspiring, my highest priority, my highest value in my life, my purpose in life? If I ask that question and don't give myself excuses for not answering it, and just keep asking and answering that question over and over again, eventually my mind will see the blessing in it and see things on the way, not in the way. And the same job that seemed to be mundane is now inspiring. And the more you become engaged and the more you'll be fulfilled in the job. And when you're doing something that's meaningful, you look forward to the job and you're not trying to escape it with tea and coffee and internet distractions or spectators, things, or etc. And you're engaged, you're more productive. You get more promotions, more opportunities, and you're more likely to get more income and eventually more entrepreneurial opportunities.
Are you sick and tired of struggling to